we're gonna start just a small summary from when you guys arrived. So essentially, last time, you guys were all on the elevator to arrive at the location of the Crucible. Currently, the riots are in, well, full swing. You can see even from your elevator that there are a few peaceful areas, but in some areas it has gotten violent. When you arrived on scene, you talked to Captain... sorry, wait a minute. Was it Captain or Sergeant? Sergeant.
Lieutenant,
You talked to
I
Sergeant
think it
Rook.
was.
Oh, Lieutenant, yes. Sorry, I apologize.
Lieutenant
I have to look up his... Yeah, I have to look up his character sheet, and I've got a few characters here. Yes, Lieutenant Rook. So, when you met Lieutenant Rook, he explained the situation, and given his shorthandedness of any available team members, you are to be hired on to aid him in quelling the riots. While he doesn't mind protests, it seems like rioting in one of the most expensive places in the Pact Worlds isn't exactly the best. Right. And he also provided you with a security mech, a riot mech, which I did post the equipment to, and I would like to know, what other 6 grenades you'll be taking with you?
I think I'm going to be taking
Mustard gas.
Oh god.
mustard gas.
Like,
No,
seriously?
alright.
Seriously? What's with
We're
you and
rivals,
fucking
not
nukes and mustard
Nazis.
gas?
Yeah, so I have a bit of everything except for...
I would have respected you more if you picked just 6 lethal grenades, you know, like, I'm gonna try and make some cool fireworks.
They've also provided you with they have one available squad of police officers, and currently, meanwhile, you are getting a basic overview of what's happening.
By the way, as I'm climbing up, I'm just gonna contact everybody, because I'm assuming at this point, because I asked Kuzon last time for us to secure a, you know, a channel for us that we can safely use. I'm gonna try to contact some people around, and Aiden's like, okay, Bro 9, you're in charge of our boys. Your team codename will be Team Bravo. Lieutenant, you take care of the boys that they've given you. Your team will be Rook. Prava, you and the rest of the boys, you'll be on the response. I want you to see if you can't quell the riots. If not, you're gonna be acting independently as a team. For now, we'll stick you with the Perseverance. I'll be your eyes in the sky. I'll be Alpha 1. Make sure to run everything by me, and I'll make sure to update you if I spot something. If you see any sniping targets that need sniping, just let me know.
I mean, sniping is a little bit.
I'm gonna be using rubber bullets, Prava, don't worry. I never said they're not going to the hospital, but they'll live. Have you seen that super old movie from Terra called Terminator 2? He'll live.
But as you're saying that, yeah, I'm going to give you the overview of the current situation. This is what the corridors look like overall. In the middle, this is your little data pad of the situation. Each of these dots...
Sorry, by corridors, do you mean this is basically the street layout?
Yes.
Okay.
They are otherwise known as corridors since, you know, Viadari. Though what you're standing on kind of looks like a building, it's more of a junction than anything. But yes, essentially these are the corridors and streets. You are currently looking down from this area. Can you see my ping?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So essentially you're starting off in this location, and your 2 teams are splitting off into the other places and coming out in this location.
Oh, I can't
And
snap on the...
Oh, 1 second, I'll remove the grid. I forgot to do that. Good. There's grid. Right. There you go, I removed it. But yeah, Prava, you may have to go in this point, and Aiden, you're going to have to go over here, since you're basically sniping from that point.
Okay. So I'm basically somewhere over here off map, overlooking the area around me.
I mean, Kuzon's the one driving the mech, and I'm probably gonna be like riding along with him, so...
Yeah, whoever's team lead, essentially.
I have the big heavy mech that I'm gonna paint, and I decided what I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna paint it red because it goes
By the
faster.
way, Kuzon, you forgot to change your amount of your health. You know of two major conflict areas. While there's rioting all throughout the streets and the like, these are main points. The points here are main conflict areas. The middle is open hallway. And while you guys are moving up, you know that this location is a conflict zone currently where some extremists are holding the police at bay. So you would have to get past this blockade before you can get into the riots proper. In the middle, you know that this location is where a police vehicle is being locked down by open fire, but otherwise the rest of the areas are unknown.
Gotcha.
I think at the end of last session, I wired up Prava's communicator to like a megaphone on the mech, so you can like talk through it.
Yes.
By the way, Ash, a quick clarification, because you mentioned there's a police vehicle here. Does that mean that there's some of our boys that are being locked down by the rioters?
Yes, there are currently 3 police officers that were in a vehicle.
Gotcha.
And I will also tell you the unique traits of both squads, since anybody can give orders towards them. The police squad is essentially a defensive unit. It will stop any violent riots from progressing down. Essentially, this is your home base. If they get to a blockade while everybody's out doing offense, then they're not going to last long.
So it's basically like a conquest map with a lot of key points. Dude, I love this. This is cool, by the way. Good job on the map. This looks awesome.
Of course, the threat of mercenaries will keep peaceful protests from turning into riot protests, so any point they're on won't turn violent. That is basically how this little game is working.
Nice.
Okay, so the cops are a wall and the mercenaries are like a suppressant then.
Yes. That is essentially it.
Aiden's gonna find a nice sniper nest, set up shop, remove his glasses so he gets a bird's eye view, and first he's gonna note of a few other tall buildings where, you know, just to be safe, there might be a good vantage points as well in case he needs to use them or in case somebody else decides to use them and he has to deal with them. And he's gonna there's gonna be a light buzzing on the radio as he contacts Prava. Alright, Prava, do your thing. Ready when you are.
So we have to like move and occupy a space of one of those guys in order to talk to them, right?
Yes. Currently, the one ahead of you is an open conflict zone.
Yeah, so I painted the mech red.
I'm gonna contact Kuzon in the mech as well. Kuzon, let me know if you see some high priority targets that you can't get to. I'll try to get them off you.
Yeah, I'm also, while we're going, I am going to be looking for, like, I understand that the camera system's been tampered with, but I'm going to be looking to, like, as we move around, look for, like, access points and, like, places where I could try to restore our access to it so we can monitor places more closely.
Right then. So, are you progressing forward?
Yeah, forward!
Right then. You are going to come to the first conflict area. Right, lay out your tokens as you wish, while I also can lay out the mech token.
If we're moving in, like,
Do they
I'll
have
just, like,
guns
big
and stuff? Or are
robot
they just
foot
throwing, you know,
smother it.
like fireworks and stuff?
These ones are actually armed. They seem to be holding some mass-produced machine gun of some kind.
Okay, I'm behind the shield then.
By the way, I'm assuming these guys are they were just here, they were part of a unit, they're not part of Rook's unit, right?
Yeah, they're the foreguard, essentially. They're the ones that are meant to be here.
how tall is the mech? Is the mech, like, 10 feet tall or, like, 15 feet tall?
About 10 feet tall, so he takes up a 10 foot by 10 foot, so his count is a large creature.
I'm just gonna contact these guys here and say, just hold the line for now. Team Perseverance will push through this area. Hold down the fort after they're done.
They give like a grunt in response, since they seem rather tired. Well, the strange thing is, these guys don't seem to be moving forward. They don't even seem to be opening fire on a location yet.
So they're semi-peaceful.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting, open fire! But yeah, they are essentially not actively attacking. They do have their guns trained on the location, though.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're in a perfect arc to get blasted, but I'm not saying that, Ash, but you know. Just saying, man, just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm gonna look down at Prava from up here in the neck, and I'm just like, so do you think these guys can be reasoned with?
Well, they're not opening fire. I'd say that's a good start. Surely when they hear our concerns, they'll have to understand.
I'm like staring down the barrel of their guns. Pinpoint's like, okay, I'll trust you on.
So Prava's gonna start like projecting from the megaphone on the mech then, and just like, people of the Adari, your voice has been heard, but there are other voices that need to be heard in this matter. We wish to speak with your leadership.
All you hear in response is a as one of them like cocks their gun.
Now, can I take a sense motive on that? That might be aggressive.
If you want, you can.
For the meme.
Oh my god, that's a spicy meme.
As you look over, the guy's hands are not exactly steady. It's as if this may be one of the few times that he's actually held a gun.
So they're afraid?
Well, a giant mech did just turn up.
There's no reason for this to
However-
resort to violence.
As you do look around Thiveron, and as Prava's speaking, you do notice that someone is oddly calm. From your perspective, you can see just past this barrel towards this person.
Okay, I am going to say in my communicator quietly to Kuzon and his mech, telling him that a lot of them seem more anxious and afraid of the fact that we're showing up with military hardware. They're not likely to open fire without a reason to, and that the guy at the very back looks suspicious.
Do I have like I guess using my communicator, can I like snap a picture of this guy and send it to Aiden? Just like.
You may, yes, since you do have a cortex and it's feeding through your eyes as well.
As Aiden gets the picture and finds out about this guy, I'm gonna contact the lieutenant. Rook, in your police database, do you have something about this guy? He seems to be on the forefront. Something thought about him. I'm thinking he's one of the people that's instigating. Does he have a criminal record?
He's gonna make a basic computer's check. 1 second. It's possible, but right now I can't exactly keep my attention on anything else but the fight.
That's fair. For now, everything seems to be nice and quiet. They seem to be holding their ground in front of HQ, but be on your toes. We'll be moving up through them one way or another.
Understood.
I'm So my apologies. I wanted to make sure that I don't have this backwards. The main thrust of the people rioting are people who definitely want to move to Agneton, right? That was like the main thrust of the riot.
Essentially, it's the people who, for instance, the people who are currently holding these weapons here. You know that they've been reported as the anti-entropy organization. Essentially, they don't care as long as they're not on the Adari.
Yeah.
But the government is not moving.
Sure. Yeah. So
The rest of the riots are essentially the same thing, but they are more peaceful than what these guys are doing.
I'm just thinking, how would I? Because I can't really like. I have a feeling that if I move forward, they're just gonna freak out.
I mean, I thought the idea was for Prava to try and reason with them, so we might as well give them a chance.
Prava's gonna like put his hands up in the air to show that he's very clearly unarmed, and he's gonna try and just inch forward and see how these guys react.
You hear from the back line, it's like, remember not to let them pass.
Please, we just are here to talk. We understand your concerns. You don't want to be on the Adari anymore. As fellow Pact Worlders, we're ready to make your wishes come true, but these things take time.
They have taken enough time. Generations, in fact.
Surely
Everybody, prepare your weapons.
As a Sheeran, I too remember what it's like. Well, my people know what it's like to be refugees in this system, coming from afar to escape disaster. We managed to find a place in this system, and so can you. But if you show violence here, it's going to be harder.
Violence seems to be every way to make things work. Not that
Nonsense.
glorious leader.
You stand here talking amongst yourself with the Adari, but you haven't opened contact with Akiton yet, with the planet that you so wish to settle. Why don't you start that dialogue?
Government's not us.
What's keeping you tethered to the station then? Why not take your people and leave independently? Go join an existing settlement on another planet.
We don't understand, and I'm not interested in talking about this. It's simple. Our message will be heard. We cannot simply
It has been.
leave the
Thousands of
Adari.
people hear it now. I am streaming live to the people of Akiton, to the planet most suited for your people. You need to start now. Show them what a force for good you can be.
Oh, you're streaming?
Prava.
Interesting.
Thiveron readies spear.
And by the way,
I aim my sights on this guy. Prava, be careful.
Aiden, I would like you to roll your profession as you got him in your scope.
Gotcha. 24. Actually 29 if it's military involved.
As he pulls something from his coat, it's not a weapon exactly, but you notice it's something called a dead man switch.
Oh god.
Then how about this? The message is simple. If they wish us to have a settlement, then it must be soon. And if so happen, the Adari will allow its people to move on. No politics, no fancy holding us back for months for reservation. Or the precious crucible will, and he makes a gesture of his hand as if explode. And he's like, disappear. And by the way, at this, you can tell that most of these people who heard him, for instance, for 4 here, are looking towards him like he's a fucking madman. Clearly, this was not a part of whatever plan that they had envisioned.
Just to confirm, Ash, a dead man switch only triggers automatically if the person that's linked to it dies, correct?
No, not dies. Let's go. Let's go or dies.
Oof. I'm
Well,
gonna
not all dies, just
I'm
sentry.
immediately gonna contact everybody. Guys, he has a dead man switch.
Has he like pressed it yet?
He's holding down the trigger. Essentially, how Dead Man switch, if he lets go of the trigger, that's when it activates. Hence,
How does
Dead
he
Man's.
how does it like get deactivated like safely though? Clearly there must be a way for him to like push a safety and cancel it.
Oh, yeah, he can cancel it if he wants, but it will take like fiddling with it.
It's not something that he can. It's not something that like that will happen unless he's willing to do it.
It is a technology. It is a technological item, like it is powered.
Can Prava try and make telepathic contact with like, this guy standing beside him and try to be like,
this one.
hey?
You could.
Yeah, Prava's gonna like link up with that guy telepathically, like, please, you can't want this. Your friend, he's clearly gone insane. Please, while I distract him with words, try and stop his foolishness.
The guy, yeah, make diplomacy.
Oh god, that's gonna end bad.
In his head, he does seem a bit used to human communication. Given Vishuan's presence on the Idari and the like, it's probably not unknown your people's ability to do so. He looks down for a moment, and inside his head you can hear him thinking for a moment, like all these words passing by before you go, this isn't how it was meant to go. The leader does not want that. He doesn't. The Major wouldn't like that, no. You can see, he's definitely thinking about it. He's on the edge. He's the closest one to him.
Does their leader have any like cybernetics or anything like that I can identify?
He doesn't seem to have cybernetics on him.
Okay.
Kuzon, you think you can do something about that dead man switch from a distance? Maybe block the signal?
Well, I do have a signal jammer, but I don't know if blocking the signal would cause it to just trigger or not.
So, is there like a legal reason these guys can't leave the Adari? Like, if they were to charter another ship to leave?
If you want to know, essentially, it would be illegal settlement. The planet is already settled, so it's like if, for instance, if you went to an Indian reservation and set up camp, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I understand like going and like building the camp, but if these guys just wanted to move to like Absalom or to Marrow, just as like immigrants.
The thing is that it's also a cultural thing. For instance, how can I explain this? It's like in the real world. It's like when a country claims sovereignty over a piece of land. Essentially, their people can't just go there and take over a city, or they can't just have like tens of thousands of their people colonize the world. It's a political fuckery, in other words.
It's like the idea that they want to have like their own planet.
Yeah,
you know?
they need
like
a home
how
world.
some nationalists are like, this is like you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that.
It's confusing. Essentially, they want a home world. They want a planet to themselves, a home. The Adari, they don't see the Adari as a home. It's meant to be a temporary stopgap. Like, they need a planet for the Cathians. Like every other race has.
Okay, that makes this very complicated, but... Please, you're trying to make yourself a member of the Pact Worlds. You can't do that with violence. If you start this precedent here, the others will never trust you. We're built by diplomacy. We're built with talks. I know it's a slow process, but it's worth it to do things the right way.
The man beside him turns around and is like, this isn't what the Major wanted. You have to, and he goes, sod the Major. It's more than clear that they won't listen to our talks. They never have until this point. Why would I believe that they would even start now?
Your protests have already had an effect. You've slowed things down in the corridors. You've already made them listen. The eyes of the galaxy are on you now. This is the best chance to make your statement.
Oh? How sure are you? Have you checked the news?
I don't need the news. I have the voices of the people. My chat's alive right now with Akatonians watching in bated breath to see what you'll do.
He does not look very convinced by the argument. It seems like he's got the newsfeed, and if anybody logged in, it doesn't seem like the Adari's reporting it at all.
I'm just trying to think of what... Is there some way that I can, like, scan for signals and try to figure out what this dead man, like, the switch is even connected to?
Well, you could. I mean, do you have a signal jammer? You could also try hacking, though it's a less like a computer item, so you won't be able to hack the switch itself.
But maybe you could hack it.
As long as he can jump the signal, so that guy can let go of the button without nothing happening for a few seconds, so we can secure that thing, that's good enough.
I know there is a mechanic trick that allows you to do that, but I don't think you'd be in range for it if you have it.
If you can signal jam it, he's actually in range of one of my new abilities. I can probably simplify this a little bit if you could just...
Okay, so I have the ability to overload, but I don't know if overloading the button would do it. Like, I don't think I can overload a switch.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't think that works, man.
Yeah, same.
It says technological item.
Yeah, but I guess what I was afraid of is if I overloaded it, if it would actually just trigger it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I was worried about. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to, like, fuck with it. What I could do is, since I did recharge the signal jammer, so maybe if I combine the signal jammer with jamming the switch, it won't, whatever's on the other side of it won't get the signal to trigger.
That's true. You could use the signal jammer. It would block communications to you as well, but it would probably work since it's a signal-based device.
I'm going to load it up on my crossbolter. Like, I'm going to take the signal jammer and, like, basically, like, very quickly, but, like, strap it to one of my bolts. And I'm going to aim for, like, a sign or something above the protesters. It just, like, kick open a window and fire with the activated signal jammer. And try to, like, just basically, I'm trying to pin something, like, above them, like a metal sign or something where the crossbolter could pierce. Pew pew.
Prava, get some cover.
Ooh.
Alright, it flies. Though it's heavy and, well, you almost thought it wouldn't make it, it jams into the top. But as you opened the hatch and open fire, you can see the guy immediately notice. He's like, look, they're making a move! And he, like, basically steps forward and lets go. But your signal jammer has already kicked in. And as you hear a... He looks towards it and he's pressing it over and over again. He's like, what? Damn it.
And as he does that, Thiveron is going to step forward and say, now that we are all on equal terms, we can speak as equals. And I'm not addressing him, I'm addressing all of his friends. I'd say, I am a scion of Lajok. We come from a dying world, but we understand that we cannot just colonize the worlds of others without destroying their ways of life and taking over their cities and their planets. We have to find somewhere where our way of life can exist without destroying others.
He's right. While you make your protests here, the city only fights back with suppression. But if you make a move on Akiton without consulting them, without building the proper channels, then you'll be up against armies of mercenaries and scavengers with which you just cannot compete.
I'm only trying to aid Prava, because I know his diplomacy is much better than mine.
Alright, make that put both of you make diplomacies, and while you do, this guy is, since he's lost his little device, he probably recognizes. 1 second, let me make a profession check.
I'm still trained on him and ready to fire at any moment, just making sure.
He's essentially, is attempting to run away down the corridors.
Prava makes, like, psychic connection with that guy he was already talking to. Like, if he gets out of range with the signal jammer, he might detonate that switch. Please, you have to stop him for the safety of your own people.
You can see him, like, looking back towards you and then looking towards the guy and looking at everybody else who's still trained on you, but that guy also runs after him.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of an edge. I wanna take a pot shot at that guy running away. I wanna hit him in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
Can I take a pot shot at him?
You may. Right, and that's range 250. I would say you're still in range of it. Essentially, you see the round hit him in the back and have him stumble. The guy is catching up quite fast, but
just to like make a demonstration for these guys, for them to see, I still have the hatch open, and I'll just be like waving, and it's like, little guy, big machine coming through, saving the day.
By the way, Prava, as you step forward, these two are trained on you.
Prava's hands are still up in the air. He's looking at them peacefully, like, please, we're not here to cause problems. We just want to prevent the senseless loss of lives that this riots could result in.
Can I, like, sniff around and listen for any vibrations or for any explosives that have been planted in the area?
You can definitely roll for it. Roll for your sense. Your sense of smell.
Sniff, sniff. Oh boy.
God.
I am not an agent of the Adari. I am not an enemy. I am here as a voice of Akiton and the others in the Pact Worlds who wish to know your people better. I've seen your ways. I've seen the tempering. I've seen your markets, the beautiful marvels you've built. Clearly your people would be a gift to any of the Pact Worlds, but you have to do things the proper way.
We've been doing them the entire time, but Redoyan don't do anything.
The
They'll
process
talk.
isn't visible on the ground level. It's talks in back rooms with interested parties. There's such a political minefield in the system that we have to walk. I know it's frustrating, I know it's scary, but there's precedents for other doing it before.
I'll lean. I'll lean. You'll see Kuzon kind of like leaning forward with his hands on his chin and everything like that. Like I have the hood open, you can see me, and I just did a big grin. It's like, you're not trying to. You don't. The problem is that you not have to convince us, friend. You have to convince all the folks at home that you're the kind of people that they want to have around. We're already sick of mercenaries. Why don't you try a different approach? You're not putting on much of a show for the people of Akiton here.
But by the way, did the single jammer kill my stream?
Yes.
I think it must have, but they don't know that.
It is recording, so you're going to have a back feed as soon as you're out of the range of the jammer.
Yeah, and also they don't know that.
True.
But yeah, the guy is lowering his gun a bit. The others are still trained on you, but that's not right. This isn't just about Akiton. This is about our own government not listening to us. They haven't listened since we arrived here. For generations, they haven't listened.
But it's not your government you're hurting with these. It's the people that live here. It's the people that you share these halls with.
No, that's not why we evacuated everybody.
Oh. Probably didn't know
Yeah,
that. He just kind of stops and he's like, well,
The androids are safely away. We don't want to hurt anyone, we just want to send a message. You won't use the crucible until we're done, and Redoyan actually listen. And don't just discuss mindless rabble again.
I understand your concerns then. Please, lower your weapons. I'll give you a platform with which you can speak to the galaxy.
You can see him, looking around for a moment. Like the others. The others seem a bit less inclined, but they look towards him for an answer now. Well, two of their members already run off.
I've got 12,000. Wait, it's 14,000 now, isn't it?
Yes.
Any followers? Yeah. I have 14,000 eyes on me, ready to hear your plight. Please, talk to those people. Let them see who you are.
You can see him think for a moment. He reaches up to his ear to try and activate it, but he doesn't seem to get a signal. He's looking around. If you wish to give us a platform, then you can move on ahead, but we won't let them pass. He gestures towards the police at the barricades.
I think that's a fair deal. You certainly don't want to see symbols of your oppression walking through. May my other two friends, sorry, what's Thiveron's race's name?
He's a Vlakin.
The Vlakin and the Ishketi, may they continue on with me?
He looks towards the mech. The others won't be so kind. You may find that they are not going to be as welcoming or staying their weapons.
We must take that chance. For the good of the Pact Worlds, I'm willing to take that risk.
He's actually looking towards you, Thiveron, for a moment. You understand. You have to. He's got a gesture ahead, he's lowering his gun.
Thiveron nods and says, like I said, I do understand why you feel you need to leave this place, but you need to find the right place to go to. Akiton is not that.
Akiton may very well be. The people of Akiton are open to settlers. They find that the lawlessness there is hard to deal with sometimes, but we need to rectify with all the factions and, make plans for when conflict arises on the planet.
Thiveron knows that he's not going to get into a political debate with Prava right now. He does not agree.
And Prava's not polling data.
So, from 14,000 people out of millions, but still. So essentially, are you guys going to move on forward then?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stomp out this. You said there was a fire here. I'm gonna stomp it out with the mech while we're passing. Just.
Like I already contacted the police officers. I want them to stay here and watch the zone anyway. Since this is a stalemate here, we might as well move forward.
And when we're past them, I'll use my grappling hook and like cling it to the sign. I'll climb up and pull the signal jammer out and disable it.
One of the cops does. One of the cops does move up, which the guys seem to allow. Is that this injured person? This entire scene here looks like a vehicle crashed into the side of the wall, and this guy's just.
Oh, I thought it was a dead cop. I thought it was.
I assumed that guy was dead too.
Yeah, they're just checking him over and like planning on dragging him back. The protesters seem to be okay with this.
Before we move on, then Thiveron's gonna go over here, and he's gonna use one of his mystic cures for the day to heal the person.
On his way by, Prava tries to like shake this guy's hand and be like, "Thank you for understanding. If you want to continue watching my live coverage of these protests, please go to switch.tv/morever."
Remember to subscribe, click that notification, and smash that like button.
So you have 14,005 followers now.
That's. Oh my god.
Aiden is still a little irritated because the jammer is still active and he can't contact him.
I think Kuzon, Thiveron is curing this guy for how much?
1 year.
I think it would get him up. Yeah, I think it would get him up either way. So essentially, the police officer is about to drag him back as you basically close up his wounds with magic. Kuzon, you can deactivate the jammer if you want, or carry it with you, or.
Yeah, I'm climbing up. I'm gonna deactivate the jammer and then bring it back into the mech. I assume I used up most of the charge doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like probably 10-ish minutes or a few minutes. But yeah, so you'll hear like the radio kind of suddenly like buzz back up as the jammer gets disabled.
Kuzon, I lost sight of the dead man's switch. I managed to hit him, but he slipped away. How are things on your end? Did you work it out?
They seem reasonable. They're letting us pass. We're expecting trouble ahead.
Unfortunately, we don't have a direct route up ahead, but let me take another look. I'll see if I can find a safe place for you to move up.
When the signal jammer goes down, Prava's gonna like turn to his stream and like apologize for the outage. Like, sorry guys, we had to deploy a signal jammer to stop an explosion from going off, or whatever that switch was connected to. But as you see, we are unharmed and progressing through to continue our coverage of the Adari riots.
Now quickly take selfies with the lads.
Prava's pure business right now. It's not selfie time.
Wow, I am actually impressed that you guys managed to solve that without violence. I was pretty sure that one of you would open fire at the dead man switch guy.
I mean, I technically did, but you know.
Well, I mean, while his switch was active.
Oh,
After
God,
we
no.
convinced his friends that it was not a good idea to blow everyone up.
I'm trying to find signs of where that switch might have been connected to, because they've mentioned there were bombs, but we don't know where it is, right?
Nope.
Yeah, he didn't mention.
Yeah, he
I'm
just made the
looking
vague threat of the
for it.
Crucible being.
Because he had a wireless transmitter, so like I'm trying to figure out, he didn't happen to like drop it or anything, did he?
Pardon?
Did he the switch, like he still has it?
Yes, he did.
Okay, then that's who we have to go after. We have to get that switch.
Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna contact Rook and say, Rook, team Perseverance ran into a man with a dead man switch. He's currently trying to run away. We're gonna be in pursuit. How are things on your end?
You can hear some conflict going on, and are you exiting the map, by the way? Just so I'm clear?
Yes.
Okay. These guys seem to be in conflict with an area here, essentially.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they are just encountering resistance, but holding them back. They haven't got weaponry, so we're holding them.
Yeah, let's get Aiden's boys to move.
Before
Here, so
we
that
decide
way that-
anything, which way did the dead man switch guy go?
He just headed off the corridors. You don't know his exact location.
Ah, I see. Prava, take the rest of the team and head towards sector C2. I'll have my boys flank the middle square from the other side. Let's try and pincer them and free the cops that are trapped by the rioters. If we show enough force, maybe they'll back off and we'll be able to get the boys out of there in one piece.
I'm not here to show force. I'm here to exchange words, but I will help the officers if required.
I just kind of is like I'm sorry, Prava, but I think some of these people will need to get their ass kicked before they get the message. I don't think you can reason with everybody here.
Yeah,
No,
so
but I'll make an attempt before we resort to violence. If we have to shoot, then I'll shoot.
yeah, I'm basically contacting Bro 9 and saying, Bravo team, move up to sector C4.
So move up to.
So you guys move up to B2 and they're moving to C4, and we're basically gonna try to clamp down on this position in the middle so we can free the cops that are trapped.
They are encountering peaceful protests as well. They can't, like, they're basically locked down for the moment.
That's fine, I'm just gonna tell them to hold the line. That's good enough for now.
So is that what those symbols mean? Does like the fist mean that it's like a peaceful gathering, and the skull mean that it's gone to?
Yes, I think that's a good symbolism since I have to use the same token anyway.
So Ash, from my vantage point, can I keep seeing the battlefield or should I move up somewhere as well?
Essentially, let's say this is essentially 200 feet between these 2 points. So past here is 400 feet.
Mhm.
So your range is starting to decrease unless you want to move up here and have an overview.
I'm gonna reposition myself to this one. I'm gonna basically contact all the teams and say Alpha 1 is repositioning. Radio silence 2 minutes, and I'm gonna unbuckle my sniper rifle and you know, take my things, and I'm gonna reposition myself to another building further down the square.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Aiden, you do. Could you make me 1 second? What's your kinetic AC?
My kinetic AC is 17.
As you are coming across, and since you're not exactly being stealthy, you see a round sort of screech through the air, leaving a small tracer behind it as it clips you across the arm, just as you make it onto just past the ventilation shaft.
Well, looks like I'm not done here. I'm gonna lie back down and reposition myself so I can get a better vantage point on the enemy snipers. I'm basically gonna go a few rooms down the corridor and take a peek through one of the windows, see if I can get a better shot on him.
Mm-hmm. While you're repositioning, rest of you have encountered a peaceful protest yourself. It seems like around this middle area is very concentrated. You can see the people essentially like cheering out.
All
As you
teams,
start approaching.
all teams be advised, we have enemy snipers. They're set up at the end of the square, engaging them now.
But yeah, as you said, like the riots are currently, like, they're not exactly leaving the place very clean. As you can see, spray paint across the walls, small improvised fire bombs just hitting the overlapping tiles of the hallway, setting them alight.
Thank you, people of the Adari, for continuing to protest peacefully. We appreciate to see that not all of you resort to violence to get what you want. You're clearly working hard as your part as a democratic citizen.
Destruction of poverty, not against people. I'm going to suspect that your voice is boosted through the mech again.
Yes.
they're gonna turn towards you and are like holding up signs of a like towards you and trying to block your way. But you could just push your way through if you wanted.
No, Prava's gonna stop and be like, we have 14,000 eyes on us today from Akiton and beyond. Is there anything you'd like to say to the Pact Worlds? I want your message to spread as far as it can.
The moment you say that, Prava, there's people clamoring around you, like literally all around you, trying to talk into like your streaming like interface. Like, yeah, I want to say something. These guys never do anything, and essentially, there's people like pushing and stuff and wanting to say their own piece in front of you.
Please, please, one at a time. If you're all speaking at once, your voice can't be heard. Is there none here that can represent you?
They're all like looking around. It's like there's the Major. He's up at the Crucible.
Then please yield the way. We will go and make sure that the Major's voice is heard throughout the Pact Worlds.
Oh, well, I've got a few things to say first. It's like there's less commotion as there was before, but apparently they want to have their say in it as well.
Very well. I'll give you 3 minutes of airtime before we continue on. Please say what you must.
And there's a person there saying, "Oh, it's Native Akiton." There's like a human, and he's like, "I want to say something too." And get people coming towards you, getting ready to say something. And by the way, Aiden, would you make a perception if you want to try spotting the snipers?
Yes. I was wondering if I can have a small bonus because I am a sniper, so I should have an edge of finding out good sniper positions and whatnot.
Well, they're also snipers, so you get the bonus that you get.
That's fair.
So essentially, as you're looking out over, you see this guy is clearly not a professional. In fact, you could probably say he's an amateur, given that he's standing almost in direct light as he's aiming down the scope towards you on an open building.
I'm going to reach out and slowly open one of the side windows just so the sun, well, whatever they have as a quote-unquote sun, puts on a small glare and see if I can bait him into shooting. And if he shoots, I'm immediately gonna take out my sniper rifle and take a pot shot at him.
Is this your way of saying that you want to use a dirty trick?
Well, yes, but I can't do that with snipers, but kind of.
I thought we talked about that.
I thought you said I can't.
Never mind. Right. So, sorry, I said you can dirty trick. I said you don't get the damage.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Because snipers are situational already.
Okay, that's fair.
But anyway, if you're just gonna shoot, essentially you can distract him, and he's gonna immediately look and you see the round just straight through the window as glass shatters and spreads across the hallway.
And I immediately pop out of my cover and quickly aim and take a pot shot back at him with a rubber bullet.
Go ahead and shoot.
Ooh!
Fuck!
I think that's almost max damage.
Quote unquote non-lethal round.
Yes.
Fucking non-lethal decapitates him. Okay. Right, by the way, crosses, if you're using on non-lethal, is still non-lethal, just so he's out of the conflict, essentially.
So basically, when the glass shatters, Aiden just, looks away so none of the glass enters his eyes. He then pops out his sniper. Amateur. Boom! And I just nail him flat in the chest and I assume I body him in one shot.
Yeah, I pray in post.
Okay, that was I feel that was a bit too much for what I did to the guy.
I don't know if the splash was good.
Yeah, I think that was a bit much.
You blew him up.
That was him throwing up, I swear.
Dude, I just hit him with a rubber bullet. That sounded like I fucking nuked his ass.
I don't have a rubber bullet sound. Essentially, you can just see him fly back into the small air unit behind him on the roof, slams his back against it, and just straight down.
Aiden stands up and glances at where he got nicked on his shoulder. Motherfucker ruined my best suit. He then turns on the comms. All teams, sniper neutralized. Proceed with caution. I'm gonna reposition now. Alpha 1, moving.
And as that round does go off, the people around you, Prava, do hear it. They seem a bit nervous about the conflict. And it's like, oh, okay, we said our piece. Maybe you should go and talk to the Major. He's a really good guy. He understands us.
And I'm here to make sure that the Pact Worlds understand him.
Where's the team heading?
So there's this crowd here. I'm gonna I have the hood popped down to not look like a scary faceless mech, and it'd be like, excuse me, pardon me. And we're trying to get to the middle, right?
Alright, so you're heading towards the middle.
While they're moving towards the middle, I basically want to reposition. Are there some nearby buildings that are, close by, or do I literally have to go down the elevator and head down the street towards another building?
You have to head down the street. Essentially, these are also your clear views to the points. You can't shoot from here to here.
Okay, so as they're repositioning, I'll position myself in this sector.
Well, you can shoot from here to here, but that's like 400. For instance, you shooting over there, I took into account of the penalties, but it didn't matter since you fucking criticaled him.
Yeah. That was a good shot, I'm not gonna lie. Had fun with that one.
Right. So that was your movement to get into position.
Yep.
And I'm gonna pull you onto the map that I've prepared. You already hear gunfire, by the way.
Oh boy.
1 second, I shall pull your tokens on.
Oh hey, now it actually stuck, so I didn't have to redo the numbers. That's nice.
Yep, I've changed them so they retain numbers.
Nice, nice.
There we go. So essentially, as you're coming up, you can literally come up behind wherever you want, because this dude is opening fire across here, this one's here, but this one is also still preparing himself. So in other words, you got the jump on them.
I mean, considering they're already firing, I'm assuming Prava's not in a talking mood right now. Should we roll initiative?
Yes. Roll initiatives.
I think it's only fair that considering they've already opened fire, the time for talking is kind of fast.
Poor Prava. Wanting to talk.
So is this is like a projected force field sort of thing? These are like projectors?
Yeah, it's like what the barrier you can put down.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume this symbol means one of them is actually wounded.
Yes. So yeah, you can place yourselves in any position you wish, by the way, along this point here.
So to confirm, you said this guy's getting ready, the other two are already shooting, correct?
Yeah, the other two are shooting.
What is
this one
he
seems to
getting
be
ready? Does he have some kind of light weapon, or does he have something a bit more heavy and scary?
He seems to be preparing a case.
Well, whatever it is, I'm definitely taking a pot shot at this dude. I don't care what he's making, I'm gonna stop him in his tracks. 17.
17 hits, and you do 13 non-lethal, which leaves him hurt.
And that's my turn.
Prava, where are you beginning? Did you want to begin across here, or in front of a mech, or what? Prava?
Oh, I'm hitting the wrong push to talk to you.
I was wondering why you were
Prava is where he wants to be. He wants to be in cover of the mech. Like, he is here to talk, but there is gunfire here, so he's happy where he is.
You can make a perception check if you wish.
I mean, who would I be to say no to that?
Since you are on the ground. You see them. See, they're in a battle. The conflict has already started.
I thought that was obvious.
That's pretty out. That's what he's saying, is that I didn't have good enough perception to see much more.
Ah, okay. I'm like, wait, what? I'm confused.
So yeah, what is going to be your action?
I am gonna try and I know this is probably gonna fail me, the player, but Prava still wants to diplomacy this shit. So he's gonna first just shout out, like, "Put down your weapons. We have come to talk to the Major. We've already been let through by some of your compatriots. We want your voice heard among the Pact Worlds."
Make a diplomacy check if you're attempting it. They do seem to take notice, but they're not stopping their fire. They are preparing to turn on, well, the giant mech, but they seem to be not really focusing on you guys.
Prava sees that guy going for that, and I'm gonna use my new ability. So I enter into Graviton Attunement, and I activate this Gravity Hold ability. It acts as just a regular psychokinetic hand, but if I'm in attunement, I can also lift up to medium-sized creatures as if they weighed 10 pounds, and like move them around with gravitational hand. So I'm gonna grab this guy here.
Which one? Oh, that one, yeah.
And he has to make a DC 16 Fortitude save, or I can whiff him 15 feet in any direction.
Oof. What was it again?
Fortitude save.
Oh boy.
No, he did not make it.
So that guy hovers, probably reaches out his hand, and he says, "Please listen." And this is Frau's first time using this ability. The guy floats 5 feet in the air, and then gets pulled 15 feet towards the mech.
So over here or right into the mech?
There.
Put him on the hood of the mech. Listen, motherfucker.
It's like he just slams into the ground. Does it knock him prone or just move them?
It moves them, and he can't move. He can take other actions, and he's stuck until either I lose concentration or he makes a DC 16 save. So every turn, I'm going to try and maintain this effect, and he's going to get another chance to escape. But until then, he's held in place, hovering in the air, completely unable to move.
Oh,
He can still like,
wow.
shoot his gun and stuff, but...
Okay. He's probably very, very shocked by this occurrence.
Please, I have come as the eyes and ears of Akuton, not as a fighter. Don't make me use violence.
Violence?
I just like say out loud, just like, I don't know. I have giant robot legs, and he's in the perfect pitching position.
By the way, pretty rude. You're entering their little love nest without even a hi. Ah, no manners.
They do look over as Wagon jumps over one of them, and they're like, "What?"
Thiveron just pushes his way through, and he casts telekinetic projectile on the rubber bullet that Aiden already hit this guy with.
Ooh.
And attempts to hit him in the head with it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
god, please hit. The deadliest bullet hits you twice.
He is not a dex character, so the odds are pretty low.
So as it lifts up in front of his face, it's like, oh, and he ducks just in time as it flies by. Whoa.
I'm gonna try and contact these policemen on the radio. Is anybody seriously injured? What's your status?
Oh yeah, this is outside banter. Yeah, essentially he goes, just a concussion and minor bleeding.
Don't worry, we have a medic with us. We'll take a look at you after we've dealt with the situation. Once you're patch up, see if you can link up with Lieutenant Rook. He's nearby. We'll provide cover.
Understood. And as you're saying that, one of these doors open, and on his shoulder he has what seems to be a very tube-shaped device. In fact, the same one that this guy gets out of the case he was holding.
Shit. RPGs.
Is he like on a raised platform? Like how high up in the air is he?
About 10 feet off the ground.
So would that affect like my? Hold on. Oh, he's only. Never mind. He's in range anyway, even if he's 10 feet up.
Yep. Right, let's have a look. Cool.
Heads up, we have another tango incoming. West side.
Oh, it only does 8. Oh, lucky. Right, so essentially, as these two hold, you can see one of them pulls back a handle and you hear vroom, boom. And there's this almost invisible projectile that flies through the air and barely misses the mech and Kuzon. But as Kuzon's mech sidesteps to avoid one projectile, the other flies in and slams into the center mass of the mech. And you can feel the vibrations and the sheer impact of the sonic projectile almost tear into your mech's armor, doing 8 damage, not reduced by hardness due to bit penetrating.
Ooh. Kuzon, are you alright in there?
I bit my tongue.
So yeah, 1 second, I'll reduce your mech's health by...
I can update that.
you done it. Cool. I was wondering if you could update it. Right, so yeah, those two have gone. There's this one left.
Is it possible? What was the? Sorry, I'm trying to confirm what actions I can take with the mech. Like, is it primarily like firing grenades? Is what it does?
I gave you the stats in downtime.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Read up on that while I do the rest of the guys' turns. Let me just check a second. I gotta make sure he's got the right stuff. This is gonna be funny. Right then. There is no way he would know this, so... Is he in range? Yes. He actually is in range. Okay. So, Thiveron, as you are standing there, fighting, you hear something clatter next to you.
Oh no.
And... 1 second, I gotta check. Yes. And as it does, you hear a sudden thump. And then nothing. It was really weird. Doesn't know what it was. It was a thump grenade. The other two seems to be distressed though. They're like, ah, my eyes!
What the fuck?
Thiveron's just like, what's going on?
Right, I'm not sure if I'm making it clear, but essentially the guy had a flash grenade on him, and I was like, how is he going to use this? He doesn't know he's blind, so I guess...
Oh wow. Thiveron was just there, what's happening right now?
The other two are like, oh god,
I mean,
can't
with the
see.
flashbang, there's sound with that, isn't there?
Not with this grenade. There is a flashbang grenade, but this is a flash
grenade. Okay.
Yeah, there are flashbang grenades, but this is just a flash grenade.
I can just imagine the cop screaming, ah, blind! And Thiveron's like, well, it's not, I mean, I understand that you don't like blind people, but there's no reason to be rude about it. I mean, yeah, I'm blind, I'm sorry.
So that was hilarious. I was like, would he? Yeah, he would. Alright, 1 second. This is going to be a bit of...
Apparently being blind in the system is super good. He doesn't care about smoke, he doesn't care about, flashbangs. Damn.
Yeah, weird that.
I also, I'm not blind, but I do have a blind sense that I can use in smoke and stuff.
There we go. Alright, essentially, this is like a little window of what's happening way up above. One of them is gonna take a sniper shot, and as he does, Prava, you see a round barely miss your head, just down the corridor.
So are they further down the road, or are they above us?
They are way down the road, essentially. They're round about 250 feet away. So yeah, that was just oops.
Oh, there goes the map.
Did
That
you
was a
fall
glitch
into
in
the
the
drift or
Matrix.
something there?
That was a glitch in the Matrix. Ignore that. This dude, since he heard you, he looks like he could do something to you, but he doesn't want to exactly, given that you were speech from before. So he's going to try to attack the mech.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
What's the AC of the mech?
It's 16 kinetic AC. 14.
Okay, and it's a plus. Okay, so this is what the guy does. You see him like nervously take out what seems to be like a small knife, and he presses a trigger and it glows a bit, and he digs it into your mech's leg, which does 3 damage, which you completely ignore. So it's like he just digs it into the armor. It's like, haha! Huh. He just stands there. I don't think that did much.
Did he break his
I
knife?
did. It's just Kuzon like using the microphone, leering down at him, like, "Do I have to kick you?"
Hang on, I don't think these guys can actually do anything. They're kind of like, my eyes!
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell them, calm down, you're fine. Just hold your position, don't move.
They're gonna basically hunker down for the time being. Kuzon, somebody stabbed you.
Do I have to kick you?
He's held in the air, ready. It's like a T-ball in position for you.
You could kick him. I'm not sure if that would do non-lethal.
Tell you
I'll
what,
give you -4 for try.
Tell you what, Kuzon, if you hit him and send him and knock out the sniper, I'd say that's a field goal, dude.
Does the mech have arms? Can you just like baseball backhand him into the wall over there to the right? Just swat him away?
His arms are guns. You do have
yes.
the taser cannon.
Ah yes, Prava, the negotiator. Let's just knock him into a wall with the giant mech.
That was Alex.
Yeah. I'll ignore this guy. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna be like, but Kuzon's gonna give him a look that just says, "I could have stepped on you," and then I'm gonna turn my attention to this guy. Which one of the ones that actually hit me with the rockets?
Oh, that was the injured. The guy who hit you with a sound rocket, sound projectile, was this dude up here.
Yeah, the one I took a pot shot at.
Kuzon's gonna just be like, do his best robot voice and like, "Stop resisting!" And then I'm just gonna pull a lever. I'm gonna fire the anchor pistol at this guy. So what should I roll for that? Should I just roll like my own shot, or like how do I roll for that?
If you don't move, you can just roll your own weaponry. Essentially, is 1 second. Let me make sure. Yeah, essentially, it would be a -4 due to if you don't have proficiency with that type of weapon. What type of weapons do you have proficiency in?
Long arms, small arms, and I have proficiency in everything except heavy weapons, basically.
Yeah, it's a long arm. I call it a cannon, but it is a long arm. The mech's not that big.
Oh, it's not 10 piercing damage. I'm firing the anchor pistol. I just didn't enter it as an attack. I have to do 2d4.
Yes,
That hits.
2d4. Yep, that does hit.
Exactly 2. Amazing.
Wait, is it? So it's like, fuck.
And then
Did do enough to get him turned to red.
I'm going to maneuver myself. I'll like push past this guy if I got to, but I'm gonna like.
It would move him to the side, so yeah, he moves over here. As you just calmly just bump it out of the way, it's like.
I'm just gonna put myself between Prava and this prick.
You're just peering over a wall towards him. You're like, you tried shooting me.
And it's also given me, I guess, partial cover, I assume, against this guy. Maybe not a lot of cover because I'm tall, but partial cover.
Right,
Right.
Aiden.
I'm gonna take note of the sniper down the road. Thiveron, they seem to have a sniper up ahead. Pop one of the smoke grenades I gave you if you feel like it's getting hairy. I'll focus him down in a sec. I'm gonna have to reposition first. Before that though, I'm gonna take a pot shot at this guy. see if I can put him down.
Thiveron just answers, I already had a plan.
This guy just flies back and is like, poof, as
Target
he
down.
drops.
Alpha 1 repositioning. And I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna start moving up so I can get a better vantage point of the sniper up ahead.
Right
That's
then,
my-
and Prava currently basically staring off into yourself.
He's just
are you?
like staring, just like,
Just-
what the actual fuck was that? But he wants to discover this new part of himself, so he's gonna use his new trick again. This guy here, make a fortitude.
So you're letting go of the other one, are you?
Yeah, I let go of the other guy. He falls back to the ground. He succeeds. He is now immune to this revelation for the next 24 hours.
Haha! I successfully resisted it.
My plan was to yeet him right off the edge and make him take the fall damage, but
Oh, that would have been cool. Just yeet.
Honestly, what else would have been cool, because he's close enough, just yeet him on top of the cops and they immediately restrain him.
I could only move him 15 feet, so I'd get him there, and then he would have smashed down, took 6 fall damage, and been knocked prone. Or 1d6 fall damage and been knocked prone. But alas.
Do you want to move anywhere before? we
Yeah,
move to-
I'm gonna come join these guys in cover.
Understood. Thiveron,
So how far away is that sniper?
from your position, he's around about 200 feet.
Okay, so 100 feet out from me, I'm going to block the entire street here. Hold on.
Hmm. By the way, I was going to make the lights on this animated, but then I heard Evo's voice shouting at me, "No animation!"
Yep. No animation.
I, for one, appreciate the animated touch.
Thank you.
Animation
There.
breakthrough 20.
Hiya!
Oh god, what are you doing? Area, 20-foot spread, medium.
So 100 foot out from me, I want to block off. I think this is 20 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yep, nice.
Oh, a 20-foot spread. So in other words, it doesn't have to be in a box if you don't want it to.
Oh yeah, then I just want to make it like this.
Yeah,
long
just make a
and
wall,
block
man.
The entire road.
Yeah, you can literally make it a wall with a little bit 5 foot on each.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
I want
nice.
to block the whole road off 100 feet up
Right.
to force him to get
Wow.
closer, so that Aiden has an easier time shooting him if he wants to see beyond it. And
That's amazing.
yeah,
You actually blocked off line of sight to the sniper. Tactical. Love
I'm
it.
gonna,
Cool.
even though Thiveron can't see it, Aiden's giving him a thumbs up. Nice job, man.
I can hear your thumb going up.
Nice. Did you want to move or anything?
Into the smoke.
Aha, I am immortal in here.
Aha,
before him.
I am where I'm most dangerous. I'm in my element now. You think you were born in the smoke, but I was born instead. Haha. Oh, what was the
You're
line from Batman?
merely adopted by the smoke.
I was born in it.
Oh, he does barely hit, but he cannot do the thing he did before. He can't charge it, so... So in other words, he panics, he's like... and it just basically rakes a bit of, like, light armor off. It's like...
The paint job?
The red paint. He's
Red
gonna lose
paint.
his extra inch of movement.
It's okay. His red blood will suffice to fix the paint.
By the way, this guy moves up here, and for a second you see him looking towards all 3 of you, by the way, but he's actually going to move up here. If you want, Prava, you can roll sense motive.
I just can't press push to talk while I'm going through that. Alright, just chill. Give me a second.
It's alright. So, essentially, the sense you get from him isn't exactly malice when he looked towards you guys, even the cops. Like, he doesn't seem to hold any hatred, but he is going to try hit him.
Whenever he looked at Prava and nearby, Prava just kind of waved at him. So he's going up, he's going to do something to our boy Thiveron, or what's his plan here?
Nice.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. 1 second. I'm gonna roll. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so Aiden, would you mind if I explain it using your sniper skills?
Go ahead.
Okay, so essentially, as he's turning, like he's getting ready with his gun, aiming it towards Thiveron, he brings up his weapon, and just as he's aiming, all we see is like this rubber bullet sniper round slam into his gun and send it flying into the fog. Just he's like,
Never miss a shot.
Okay, so now I've got to focus on this guy, as you're not completely concealed, so he can sort of see you.
Yeah, in 5 feet, like in melee range, it's a partial concealment and not full concealment. So it's a 20% miss chance.
Mm-hmm. And this guy is going to pull out his dual swords and attempt to attack twice. So he's -4 on each. Does any of those hit your kinetic?
Yes, the 16.
12, and you said it's 20% miss chance. Would you like to roll 1d100? And if it's 20 or below, he misses.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Get
Okay.
your knock damage out of here, Game Master.
So it's like he swings for you, but it's like you're with your like white fur. You're also part of a fog because you avoid him. My max damage, man.
Yeah. Robbed.
I
Bork,
feel
bork.
robbed. Right, these guys are still blind. That flash is meant to last for about 3 rounds. It's been 2 now, so this is the last round, I think. Poor guys. Kuzon.
Pew pew.
Pew pew pew.
Yeah, I'm gonna pew pew
Oh,
this guy.
I
Is this
doubt
like
you
Attack
wasted
on
a fucking
Titan?
grenade
Is
on
he
him.
just peering over the fucking wall and he's like, surprise, motherfucker?
And then I'm actually hitting him with 2d4. That's
7. Nice. So essentially, he's like,
Stop resisting. And
you must stop resisting. Are you actually trying to climb up from inside?
I know, but now that you say it, I almost want to.
It's superhero logic. Property damage does not matter.
It would take a piloting check, but you could do it.
You just stopping.
I'll save the insane piloting check for now.
I was gonna say, are you
Right.
saving the insane piloting?
Aiden,
Right, I'm gonna see if I can finish off this guy that Kuzon's lighting up.